Hello, ladies. Good morning. This is Hot Mess Monica coming to you live. Dunya, if you're watching, this is literally the hair from Saturday. Dunya is my makeup artist, and her team did our hair and makeup for a birthday party on Saturday, and I still haven't washed it. So coming to you live from Hot Mess Monica, having my morning brew. All right, ladies, I want to come in here and talk to you real quick. So now we're finally complete. The whole group is complete. But there's two things that I want to talk about today. And what's going to happen in this group is we'll just be breadcrumbing different topics, talking about different things. And like I said, I didn't want to come into this group. It's layer one, foundational stuff that we're working on in here. I don't want to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you, but little by little, start to teach you the ways that I have learned. And most of all is to educate on why, right? So today, what I want to talk about first, I want to kind of get this monkey off everyone's back. I don't want anyone to feel, even though we talked about how participation in here is like required, right? Required, like we show up every single day. And I told you guys, didn't do that to be mean. It was because I know how that can impact your journey right now, how that can impact what you have committed to. It could either be very black and white of, okay, I get a workout in, I drink my shake and I work towards results, or it could be like living in color where you get to meet other like-minded women. You start to develop friendships. You start to develop something like being a part of something bigger than you that you show up to, that you know your drop in the bucket matters. I was actually watching this really cool documentary last night. It's called, I don't know what it's called, something. And then it talks about areas called blue zones. And blue zones are around the world. This dude set out to find all centenarians, I think it's called, people that are over 100 years old. There's like blue zones of like clusters of humans that are over 100 years old. And he wanted to study, like, how did they get there, right? One of the biggest things that they found, especially in Okinawa, Japan, was the fact that these group of 100 plus year olders created groups of friendships. They had something to belong to. And they also had what they call, it's like a word, in their language, but it basically meant like they had a why, they had a purpose every single day. And that was proven to be one of the main factors, because they took it so seriously, one of the main factors of them living so long. Well, I've learned that in what I do. When I see women come in and they commit to that thing that's bigger than them, it exponentially creates success in their journey, in their own personal journey, because it's not just about them. And think about that for a second. How easy if you decide to join something and you're just quietly in the back when life trips you up, because I'm here to tell you that it will, right? When life trips you up, when things get hard, I'm thinking about a lot of you ladies in here. Some of you guys are dealing with injuries. Some of you guys are dealing with newborns. Some of you guys are dealing with very demanding jobs. You came into this knowing that, right? We know that, but I'm here to tell you, and like I told you when we talked, despite that, you can still find success. And one of the key factors is coming into this and realizing you belong, you have a purpose here. Your piece and you're dropping, like your piece of the puzzle, you're dropping the bucket, all matters to the greater good of this entire group. Okay. But with that being said, I also don't want you guys to flip out, go crazy. And especially these things, right? Have this stress you out. WhatsApp, this is the first time I ever used WhatsApp for any challenge of mine, because usually I felt like WhatsApp was like a lot like text messaging. It can go off, and it could make you feel frazzled, right? Has anybody ever been trapped in a group chat? Like, and on Facebook or maybe on the BOD groups that we also have, it would be an app you enter into to then get your information, right? Well, I want you guys to know that you can do this two ways. Some people just don't even mind that. I know my notifications come in. It actually excites me when I see like this group pop up, because I'm really excited about this group. But if you're super busy all day long, right, and you can't have your phone blowing up, and we're in here dropping, everybody's getting their workouts done at a different time, or maybe listening to the daily fires at a different time, or whatever, know that here's a couple things that I would give you advice on. Either put the notifications on off and set alarms on your phone to at the very, very minimum, once a day, you're checking in on the group, right? And you're also putting your drop in the bucket in the group. You're putting your sweaty selfie. You're putting your feedback on Daily Fires. You're putting anything that you want to talk about. If it's a recipe idea, if it's whatever it is, you're putting your drop in the bucket, but you're at the minimum once a day. So turn off notifications, set an alarm once a day that you're going to come in here and meet us all and put your part in, right? And if you're someone that also, may feel like they open up the app and there's 5,000 notifications, or like you got to catch up. Listen, it happens to me. I'm in multiple different kinds of chats for multiple different things. And I have 3 kids. So imagine what those mom chats look like too, right? I just scroll through. And first and foremost, if it's for me, like Monica Lopez, they need me. Like yesterday at Hyro with the bike, she'll tag me. I'll get that notification. I'll see that. But then I kind of just glance through. I don't make it like this pressure to know every single thing that's going on. If someone specifically needs you, they'll reach out, right? So don't overcomplicate that either, that you feel like, oh my God, I got to know everything that's happening. If it's important, like this video right now, I will make sure to tag everyone and say, hey guys, everybody watch this, right? And I'll make that scene. Outside of that, you go in there, you drop your stuff, maybe go through, glance through. If you see your girls, crushing their workouts, or they drop something and you have a comment, by all means, leave a comment. But it's kind of finding that balance of understanding what the purpose of this is, right? Of what we're trying to create here. Okay. But I also don't want you guys tied, because I get it when you're like tied to this thing and it's going bananas. Okay. So that was the first thing I want to talk about. Second thing I want to talk about is creating a morning routine, right? Because this is the thing that changed everything for me when it came to my health and fitness and finding that discipline in it, right? Especially the working out. A lot of people just think that I love working out. Well, today I have created and developed a love for working out. I have created a habit that if I don't do it, I don't feel right, right? Like, and in fact, I have to force myself today. Most people want to punch me in the face when I say this, but I have to force myself these days to take a rest day because I know my body needs that. But I've conditioned myself so much so to do my workouts first thing in the morning that it's just ingrained in who I am, right? And there's this really great graphic I want to drop in the group that just kind of shows you when you're introducing something new in your life, the different stages until it literally becomes who you are. I'll share that. But with that being said, it's funny because we just kicked off this group 3-4 days ago, and I've been tripped up by life that when I usually get my workout in and I usually get my Daily Fires in has not been happening. So that's actually a really cool thing to show you, because even though I'm getting tripped up, I have developed enough discipline that no matter what, it's getting done. It doesn't matter if it's the sun is down and I'm stepping into my home gym and I'm doing at least 10 minutes, like I get things done. Same thing with my Daily Fire, right? What I prefer, what is my norm is I wake up, I get my kids out of the house, right? Because I have 3 kids that I got to get out, to go to school, whatnot. And then that's my time, me time. I sit down and I like to do my Daily Fires first, because I just learned that if I did my workout first and then I tapped into my Daily Fires, sometimes my Daily Fires would get put in the back burner of my day and it wouldn't get done. That's the thing that I have less discipline in, which was mindset. So I put it first. Okay. So that's tip number 1. Whatever is the hardest for you, that's the thing. That's the frog you got to eat first thing in the morning. Okay. So I would listen to my Daily Fire, which actually helps get me in the right mindset. And then I would step into my workouts and I was like noticing between doing that and my journaling and then stepping into my workout, I had more oomph behind my workout, right? Because my mindset was on fire and I was like, let's fucking go. Right. So that is normally how I do it. But look, I'm getting tripped up right now because we're planning a vacation. Like we leave on vacation, on Friday, which is tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Oh my God, it's tomorrow. I have so much laundry to do. I also work 50% out of the house these days. That actually started for me about a good 6 months ago, where my husband's firm, he started his own security business. It's picking up in a big way. So I started to take on roles at his office. So 50% of the time I am not at home like I've been used to for like the last 10 years. And so I've having to like time manage a little bit more. I've had meetings that I've been like, ooh, I can't do my usual morning routine, or I didn't get up early enough, move things around, and I have to switch things around. So I get it. And here's what I also really want you guys to know is that I just told you for 10 years, I've worked from home and I've solidified a morning routine, but I can take myself like this. I can close my eyes and take myself right back to my life before when I was a paralegal. And I had not started my coaching business yet. I was a paralegal. Dunia was around for this. And it took me a 2-hour commute in the morning between a car ride and a train ride to get to work, and 2-hour commute back home. Same thing. So 4 hours of my day, I was like trapped in commuting. And back then I had an infant and one under 2 years old. And then I had my 4 or 5-year-old, right? So I had 3 kids when I started this whole thing, when I started my health and fitness journey. Actually, I'm lying. I started with 2 babies. Then I had a 3rd baby. I call my 3rd one the beachbody baby. Anyway, point is that if you're looking at me right now and saying, great, Monica, you've developed this awesome morning routine, but you have the time to do it. No, because back then where I actually started the foundation of this routine that I had started when I had to really, really account for every second of my day, because it was wrapped up in a lot of commuting, raising 3 kids, 2 to 3 kids, working, right? And then also having like a life where I still had laundry to do. I still had to clean the house. I still had to cook dinner. I still had to find time to have a social life. So I know where you may be at, right? Wherever you land, whatever your schedule looks like, I know. And I have defeated and created success out of every scenario. Today, I have more time freedom. Yes, I get to dictate more, but it didn't start that way. And in fact, that foundation that I set for myself when things were really hard, where I really had to account for every millisecond, helped me be so structured now that I do have time freedom. Right? How many people do you know that have time freedom and they don't know what to do with their time? Happens a lot of times when people go into retirement. They go into retirement, they're like, and then they lose themselves. Well, the discipline I learned when I did work outside the home and I had all those things on my plate created the structure that I have today. So I want to talk about that, because what did that look like? Because if you're looking at me right now and saying, great, I would love to start a morning routine, but it's that I love when people say you just don't understand, right? Except I do. So I want to give you my tips on how I did it, because I know if you solidify a morning routine, it will change every bit of your life. Every hat you wear, every role you play, it will change it around, because you're going to be operating from a completely different place. So when I used to back then I had an infant, I had 2 kids, I had to get them out of the house, but I also knew I had to get this workout in, right? It became my job to get my workout in. And I knew I had my mindset work to do. Back then, it wasn't as great as growth day. Growth day, you got to think, you just got to plug in. Back then, I would have to try to find a book that I thought was what I needed. I would, I'm not a reader. I have ADD. Like, seriously, it's so hard for me to retain information. Audiobooks became a thing later for me, but I would force myself to read and highlight and all do other things. I had to find time to do that, right? So here's what I did in my brain. I said I was going to start to wake up an hour earlier than my family, an hour earlier. And oftentimes that meant like propping the baby in a bouncer, putting the bottle, starting my workout. And back then, guys, we didn't have the 20-minute workouts that you could literally get done right now. It was usually 45 minutes to an hour. And I would get that done. It was the frog that I ate first thing in the morning, because one too many times I would sleep in, I would snooze that alarm clock, I would miss the workout, and then I was trying to get it done at 7 p.m. and I was grumpy. It was hanging over my head all day. And then if I did miss it, I'd beat myself up about it. And then that's where these thoughts of like, it's hopeless, I'm never going to be able to hit the goals that I wanted. Postpartum mom, wanting to feel better and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's where it was a snowball effect of all the things that weren't serving me. But when I realized, okay, if I commit to and keep my promise to myself of waking up, right? And I would set, sometimes it takes me 3 alarms, but it's fine. I would do that I strategically set 3 alarms 2 minutes apart, because by the third one, I'm like, fuck, I gotta get up, right? I would get up. I would also set my Energize on my nightstand. This is back then it was called E&E. Today it's called Energize, our pre-workout. We have like seen our pre-workout go like next level on the fact that it's plant-based. It's you know, you don't have to worry about putting all these chemicals in you. If you're nursing, like I have so many nursing moms that still drink Energize, they get approved by their pediatrician, whatever. It's the good stuff. So I didn't worry about having my Energize like right there in my nightstand. I remember I would wake up, I'd just shake it, chug, bing, you're in business. And then I would have my clothes set out already from the night before, and it was a no-brainer, get up and go. And I would go get my workout in. So I offer that to you. Concept number 1 is eat that frog. Just figure out what is the hardest thing for you. And if it's the workout, I highly recommend getting that done, because anybody, and if you read any of self-help books out there, personal development, the way your morning routine will dictate the rest of your day and how it goes, right? It's literally having the morning routine. They say your morning routine should have 3 things. It should have body movement, right? It should have journaling, and it should have some kind of mindset or quietness, right, to it, right? Those are the 3 components of a solid morning routine. If you ever read like 5 a.m. Club and, you know, Eat That Frog, like all those that teach you these habits, and all the success books tell you, like, anyone successful has a morning routine, because they realize it's literally how we are built to kickstart our day, right? They say around 5 to 6 a.m. is always the magic, you know, time. But doing that is going to then spill over into the rest of your day and the way you operate. So getting that workout and moving your body. Today we have growth day, where you can literally, you don't have to think. Brendon Burchard is putting in front of you the things that you need to hear. He's giving you the questions that you need to answer, to journal and get what's up here, out here, so that you can operate from there, right? And so that's what I would do back in the day, without having so much structure that we have right now, is get up 1 hour earlier and commit to doing that. There are days that it's going to trip you up. There's days that you may have to move things around, and that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Obviously, the whole point of what we have to offer is that you can fit it into the crevices of your life. You can mold it and move it around, whatever, to still find success and still hit your goals. But I want us in here focusing on at least 80 to 90% of the tasks that we have set out to do for ourselves in here happening first thing in the morning. Because I want you guys to kind of experiment and see how it shows up in the rest of your day. See how you know, and let me give you one more story. This is how I knew that it was changing everything for me. It happened with my oldest. Back then, when I was first starting and trying to develop this lifestyle, right, for myself, he was about 5 or 6 years old. And I remember the way that I would wake him up to go to school drastically changed. Before, I had set a morning routine and done me before doing my day, it would look like this. I'd wake up, I'd be groggy, like one eye open, stumbling, turning on lights. Get up, it's school. Come on, you got to get up. You got to get up. Let's go. And then I would be running late, and then I'm trying to do me, and then I'm like all over the place. And then next thing I know, kids still sleeping. Oh, of course. And I'm like, Jason, I said get up. And then we're like operating from a place of like yelling, rushing, freaking out, bad mood, fighting traffic, blah, 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 blah. You guys can figure out what the rest of that looked like, right? So then when I started to plug this into my life, I did me first. By the time I was turning on his light, I had Energize up in me. I had all the endorphins up in me. I was ready for my Shakeology post-workout. I was feeling good. And it became, Bobby, it's time to wake up. And then I created this thing. I think it's so hilarious today. From him, I started doing it with my second child and then my third child. I would call it either earthquake or spiders. An earthquake was, I'd shake the bed. Get up, Poppy, it's time to go to school. And I would tickle him. Tickling him was spiders. Oh my God, you have spiders all over you. And that would turn into giggles in the morning, waking up with him smiling, me joking around, being a playful mom. Then you could see how that continued and snowballed from there into the rest of my day. That's how I knew. that's how I knew that it needed to be something that was solid in my life. And here I am now 13 years later. Some of you guys in here know me that long and have seen the evolution. And I'm telling you, it starts there. So no matter how hard it is, I want you to push through and figure out, right? Now, this is where we all have to put our big girl panties on, and we have to take responsibility, right, for our lives. We have to take a hold of our lives and say, it's not impossible. It's totally possible. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it for me, right? I'm going to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And you got to move things around. But I promise you that if you set this solid morning routine, and we'll start with just daily fire and workout, right? That it's going to change so much for you. All right. So anything you have, I want to hear. Now I want to hear from you guys. If you guys have anything to say about this topic, let's chit chat. Love you guys. See you on the flip side. Bye.